Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. In April 2019, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion Michael Elgin left New Japan Pro Wrestling and debuted for Impact later that same month, immediately being inserted at the top of the card. He lasted just over a year there though, when his contract was terminated by Impact due to allegations surrounding the speaking out movement last year. Many expected Elgin to eventually return to New Japan, as it seemed he had parted ways with the company on good terms. However, according to a new report from Fightful Select, this is not the case. Elgin had told many in Impact Wrestling and close to him that he left New Japan because Tama Tonga was unsafe in hitting him with a chair in the G1 tournament that he alleges tore his bicep. Elgin was also critical of Tama to several people in saying that he only got a push because of his father, Haku. Interestingly though, things aren't clear on the New Japan side of things either, with the report going on to say several that we contacted say that Elgin was actually fired from the company but did not specify to us why. Speaking of Fightful, we've got to make a correction to a story featured in yesterday's WrestleTalk news. Ethan Page finished up with Impact at their Hard to Kill pay-per-view on Saturday and then shot hard on his final comedy cinematic match on Facebook. A Reddit post then claimed Fightful was reporting he had heat with Impact's Scott D'Amore and Don Callis. But Fightful never reported this, and I'd like to apologise to Sean for the misinformation there. The best thing to do, as always, is to become a Patreon to Fightful Select, which is a fantastic service that gives you Sean Ross Sapp's latest scoops before anyone else, and loads of fun exclusive content. Impact's Hard to Kill also saw AEW champion Kenny Omega pin Impact champion Rich Swann in the main event, and it looks like the fallout might continue on tonight's Impact. Impact Hall of Famer and very scary man Ken Shamrock tweeted AEW president Tony Khan saying, "Tony Khan, meeting you again, hopefully our paths can cross again," which hints Khan could appear in person on the show as opposed to his paid advertisement slots with Tony Schiavone. But the real war right now isn't AEW versus Impact, it's Mark Henry versus Ryback. Henry called out Ryback over the weekend because Ryback had said in an interview that wrestling is fake. "You're exposing the business, Ryback." The two went back and forth, leading to Ryback shooting hard in a string of since deleted tweets. Let's also just air it all out there. John Cena didn't want to work with Mark Henry on live events because he believed Mark was the I'm also going to say this. Mark Henry was asleep in Gorilla prior to our WrestleMania match. A producer came over to me and said, "Good luck working that fat piece of This brought out a lengthy, heated response from Henry appearing on Busted Open Radio, who said, "I'm not cutting a promo, I'm saying this from my soul. I will tear your flesh off, bro, and that's a promise. I'm not threatening you, I'm just saying, as a reactionary thing, if you hit me, there will be hospital time. I'll make sure of it." Before we get on with the rest of the news, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Blinkist. You might not know this, but my great passion other than wrestling is productivity.
No, seriously, he drank this weird mushroom tea thing for absolutely months.
But
he gets a superhuman amount of work done.
And one of the best things I use is Blinkist, the award-winning app that features bite-sized 15-minute versions of the best non-fiction books you say you'll get round to reading but never do, like Barack Obama's first memoir, A Promised Land, that came out last year, which is 768 pages long and doesn't even get to that time someone impersonated him at WWE Capital Punishment. But on Blinkist, you can get the key summary in just an 18-minute read, or the Daniel Bryan approved Factfulness, which uses statistics and facts to show the world is actually a far better place to be alive than before. Or my pick, David Allen's seminal Getting Things Done, a book that genuinely changed my life, with to-do lists. Us wrestling fans are smarter than everyone gives us credit for, and now we can use Blinkist to quench our thirst for knowledge. And there's even an audio version for each blink so you can listen to them like a podcast if you're out and about. Visit blinkist.com/WrestleTalk to check it out, where the first 100 people will get an unlimited access 7-day free trial, which you can cancel at any time, and 25% off full membership if you want it, which you will. Smash 2021 and actually read those 50 books you said you would in your New Year's resolutions with Blinkist. Support WrestleTalk, support Blinkist, and support yourself. Now it's time for my review of last night's Raw in about 4 minutes. The show opened on a video package for the new wrestler Martin Luther King, which went straight into an interview from another new gimmick, the Gimp, Randy Orton. Because Randy by name, Randy by nature. Orton is now wearing a Mexican lucha/gimp mask to cover up his burnt face after Alexa Bliss used Fireball on him last week. It was super effective. Orton blamed this on The Fiend rather than Bliss though, promising he'll still win the Rumble match. Remember when Randy had a 3-dimensional character tormented by self-doubt and jealousy? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Caruso alert! Lacey Evans is banging Ric Flair. They both tried to distract Charlotte in her match against Peyton Royce, with Evans wearing the Nature Boy's robe. Royce wrestled far more viciously than her normal comedy shtick, but all must eventually fall to the Omni Flair. Charlotte made her tap in a decent match. Mustafa Ali cut a smart promo, calling back to how Kofi Kingston took his place at WrestleMania 35. Now Kofi's injured though, it's Ali's time. Sadly, with Kingston out, the very talented Xavier Woods is being used as booking fodder. After he was beaten by T-Bag last week, Mace easily dispatched him here. Then Raw played that really weird WrestleMania announcement advert with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon dressed up as news anchors called Henry E. Pankey and Anita Real Man. Roman Reigns had no time for your gimmick nonsense. Just announcing WrestleMania 37 is in Tampa Bay, and Sasha Banks' Hailey Mary revealed 38 will take place in Texas, and Hugh Can't See Me, played by John Cena entirely in voiceover, fittingly said 39 will be in Hollywood. When they think they're off air, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon then revealed they were the anchors all along. This concept made no sense. Shayna Baszler caused even more dissension with her tag partner Nia Jax by daring to say the Rumble is everyone for themselves, which literally everyone always says. And she then beat Mandy Rose in booking Purgatory. Caruso alert! Shayna and Nia said they now want their rematch for the tag team titles, even though automatic rematch clauses aren't a thing anymore. Ain't that right? Definitely not Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Charlotte doesn't care though, her tag title is just being booked as a shiny prop on her shoulder. She ignored that challenge and just cut a promo on Evans afterwards. Pearce, who remember definitely isn't Raw General Manager, then booked Ricochet versus AJ Styles so Ricochet could prove he's worthy for the Rumble. Ricochet should not be at the level where he has to prove he's worthy of anything. They of course had a great match where the commentators put Ricochet over loads and he looked incredibly athletic as always, and the finish was amazing. AJ bouncing Ricochet off the top rope to catch him in a Styles clash to win. But it's another loss for Ricochet, and now it's come out his WWE deal actually expires in 2024. It just made me depressed because I fear we'll never actually get to see him in the true prime of his high-flying career. As built up through the show, we then got Miz and Morrison's Dirt Sheet special guest of Goldberg. Only it wasn't Goldberg, it was Gilberg, which I actually really enjoyed. Not just because I always pop for Gilberg, but also because he had a heart attack last November and it's great to see him doing well. I do think the bait and switch will annoy casual viewers though, who might have waited around on this very boring episode to see something that was never going to happen. Santa Claus 2 actor David Krumholtz then came out in a wig and kilt pretending to be Drew McIntyre for a silly stare down, and it kind of worked for Miz's story, who finished saying whatever happens, they're both losers at the Rumble when he cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, because he's the Miz and he's next. Drew McIntyre later cut a promo from in front of a bench press where he uses the WWE Championship for extra weight and said he'll be back on Raw next week for a go-home face-to-face with Goldberg. Riddle told Bobby Lashley backstage he's taking the high road over the Hurt Business, marijuana LOL. Riddle is so not a focal point of this storyline anymore, Bobby couldn't even find his foot when he tried to stomp on it and missed completely. But Riddle sold it anyway. It's the vibes, man. He's selling the vibes. He teamed with the Lucha House Party against the Hurt Business, which was entirely about Cedric and Shelton not getting along. It's actually a good story for a change. I'm just sick of seeing every faction or team infighting in WWE for the last year. Bobby took matters into his own hands and tapped Metalik out. Elias and Jackson Ryker beat up Jeff Hardy after losing via DQ. How's this storyline still going on? And the main narrative arc throughout the night was Alexa Bliss versus Asuka, where the Raw Women's Champion was systematically dismantled in favor of another storyline. Sound familiar? Rather than show her actual character, the badass Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka was simply deployed to get over Bliss, acting scared of her and trying to dance and make things happy in the playground segment early on. This built up the main event, where Bliss smiled through the entire match, the lights cut off before the break, and the show returned with Alexa in her new gimmick, Emo Fiend. She wears black now. Bliss deflected most of Asuka's attacks like Neo in The Matrix, then she won with her sister Abigail. Asuka put up a bit of a fight, but she was totally undermined by being relatively easily beaten and, crucially, scared the entire time. Because Asuka, at the end of the day in WWE's eyes, is nothing more than a stepping stone. The darkest timeline is coming. Bliss beats her for the Raw Women's title, setting up Alexa versus Charlotte for WrestleMania. The show jump cut Alexa back to her playground outfit, further insulting our intelligence, and it ended with her saying, "Let him in the Fiend's voice." What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below, and follow us on Twitter at WrestleTalk_TV to vote in our poll on a poll match, where 34% voted it good, but it was definitely weighted towards poor, because this was a boring show where your favourites got beaten in matches that didn't mean anything. This week's Raw is poor. Why was Vince McMahon livid backstage at SmackDown? Click the video on the right to find out. And why does Roman Reigns' tribal chief gimmick work so well? Watch Explained with Laurie Blake as he unpacks the traditions of Samoan culture. And remember to visit Blinkist.com/WrestleTalk for a free trial and 25% off. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.